Buying a house is an extremely emotional process. Why? Go! If you allow those emotions to get the best of you, you may fall prey to a number of house hunting mistakes. And it's important to keep your emotions in check in order to make the most rational decision possible when looking for a house. So with that, I say, Namaste, house buyers. I'm Joey Rockenstein, and this is Rockin' Real Estate LA, the channel helping home buyers and sellers get results that rock. The home buying process is difficult enough as it is without letting your emotions get in the way. All right, you're trying to get the home of your dreams. Unfortunately, many people do things that hurt their chances of getting the house that they want. You know, in this video, I'm gonna go over some things that you guys should avoid doing when looking for a house during the house hunting process. And let's look at some things that will help you in your process to find the house that you want to get. And while we're at it, guys, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, do those things that we got to do to help out my YouTube channel if you don't mind. But from there, here we go. First one, not knowing what you can afford. You know, once you've fallen in love with a particular place that really checks off all your boxes, but maybe a little bit outside of the price range of what you can actually afford, it's kind of hard to go back. Like, you can't unfall in love with it. You're just going to keep thinking about that place over and over again. You just keep dreaming about it. You're dreaming about those tree-lined streets, the jetted bathtub, the ensuite bathroom that has that luxurious jetted bathtub, also the marble countertops and that spacious kitchen that's got that huge island, and it's just way out of your price range. So know what you can afford, because that'll help you in your house search. However, if you can't afford that house, you're just hurting yourself. So to avoid temptation, it's best just to restrict your house shopping to things that are within your financial budget. You know, it helps you narrow down your search, your neighborhoods, and just stick to your price range so you won't end up lusting after something that you can't afford. And you don't want to lust after anything. You don't even want to use the word lust in a video like I just did, and I used it a couple of times. Up next, skipping out on the pre-approval. This goes hand in hand with not knowing what you can afford, because as we learned from the 2008 mortgage crisis, what the bank says you can afford versus what you know you can afford or are comfortable paying with are not necessarily the same. Conversely, what you think you can afford and what the bank is willing to lend you may not match up, especially if you have poor credit or have unstable income. And we have learned about all those things from this past year. Make sure to get your pre-approval for a loan before you start your home search process. I mean, it's one of the criteria that you need to fill out on many of these lame websites that are there to help people out, like Zillow or Redfin. And I say lame because, let's be honest, you should really have an agent on your side to help you out. You know, this will give you an idea of what your budget should be. And also, you need that pre-approval to actually put an offer in on a house. And also, a lot of agents won't even show you a house unless you've been pre-approved already. So it's a great idea to get that done. And it doesn't take a long time either, because if you don't bother getting pre-approved, you're essentially just wasting everybody's time. You're wasting the seller's time, the seller's agent, your agent. So, and also you're wasting your time too. So time is money. So let's get that pre-approval letter done. And as a side note, if you've been fortunate enough to have found a house, make an offer, get it accepted, and then be in escrow, don't do anything that's going to kill your deal, like switch jobs or make any big purchases, like get a car or buy, you know, furniture that you're going to use for the house or a big TV. Those things can wait, because making those big purchases are going to affect your credit and it could kill your deal. So don't do it. Do it after, and then invite me over. Next, not shopping around. While you should be realistic with your house search and willing to compromise to some degree, I would recommend not caving on important things. First of all, you should definitely have your needs versus wants list, and I've gone over that in a different video. That's your list where you have your needs, which are things that are really non-negotiable that you want to have in your house, and the wants, which are things that, yeah, you'd like to have them, but you'd be willing to sacrifice them to get the house. You know, for example, don't get a 2-bedroom home when you know you're going to want to start a family and you're going to need 3 bedrooms, because that would be something that you would just regret later. And in that same token, don't buy a condo just because it's cheaper than a house, when the reason why you don't like living in an apartment, it's because you don't like shared walls. Well, if you have a condo, you're gonna have a shared wall, so that just defeated the whole purpose. It's true that you're probably gonna have to make some compromises to be able to afford your first home, but don't make a compromise that is gonna be a major strain and might cause you to regret your decision and things later on. Not using an agent. When you're serious about getting a house, I really recommend that you get an agent. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of buyers think, oh, I don't need an agent. I can just walk into an open house, and if I like it, I can just work with the seller's agent directly and I can get a deal. Well, shocker, you're not gonna get a deal because the seller's agent has to represent the seller and get them the best price possible for the house. Yeah, you might think that your money is the best money around and no one else has money like yours, but there's a lot of buyers out there. And plus, you need someone who's going to represent you, like to help you negotiate to get a good price, right? There's the inspection process that has to be set up, and there's negotiations after inspections if you find things that are wrong. These are all things that the buyer's agent will do on your behalf. Like myself, hello. So get an agent because it's gonna help you. And the majority of buyers, I would say roughly 89% of them, bought their home through a real estate agent through 2019 through this year 2020 from a survey from the National Association of Realtors. So that's a lot of people who have agents. Don't be the 11% who don't have agents because it usually doesn't work out too well for them. Lacking vision. What does that mean? Well, sometimes being a home buyer can feel like you're Goldilocks. This house is too big. This one's too small. This one's a house. Distinguishing between what's fixable and what's not can play a key part in house hunting. Even if you can't afford to replace the hideous wallpaper in the dining room right now, and wallpaper is making a comeback, people. Yes, it is. If these walls could talk, they would say, please get the wallpaper off. It might be worth to live with the ugliness for a while in exchange for getting the house you can afford. If the home otherwise meets your needs in terms of big things that are too difficult to change, such as location and size, don't let physical imperfections get in your way because those are things that can be changed later. Doesn't have to be done right away. Just it's important to get the house. At the same time, don't be fooled by minor upgrades or cosmetic fixes. These are inexpensive tricks that sellers use to play on your emotions and to elicit a much higher price tag for their house. Sellers might pay anything from like $2,000 for minor upgrades or fork over the same amount of money for staging for their house, which makes it look good. And that's smart. I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing that, but also don't be fooled by these things. Doing these upgrades yourself might be a better option. Even if you have to hire a contractor, it's often cheaper than paying an increased home value to a seller who has already done the work for you. And you can do these fixes too according to your taste, not someone else's, because the seller, is just trying to do these fixes so they can sell their home. It's not necessarily going to be your style. So make it your own. Overlooking important flaws. Look for homes that haven't reached their full potential yet. They're called fixers, and there's a reason why, because they need to be fixed. There's some things that aren't right with the house, and if you have the means and the wherewithal, this might be a good option for you. And plus, the bump in equity from your upgrades will help you move up on the property ladder. Now, with that being said, if you're going to buy a house that needs work, don't buy a fixer-upper that you can't handle in terms of time, money, or your own abilities. For example, if you think you can do the work yourself and then suddenly realize after you start doing the work that you can't do it, any repairs or upgrades that you're planning to make will probably cost twice as much because now you got to hire someone to come in and do the work for you. This may not be within your budget, and you got to think about all those things. Not to mention the costs involving to fix anything, once you have started, including replacing materials that you wasted. And honestly, just evaluate what your abilities are. I am horrible at do-it-yourself projects. I tried to repair a leather couch one time, and once I was done repairing the couch, it was a small hole. The couch had a very large, well, 3 large holes in it instead of 1 small hole. So think about that. Don't do things that you can't do because it's just going to end up costing you more in the long run. And up next on this list of things that you should avoid doing while house hunting, ignoring the neighborhood. I don't know why people do this, but they don't drive around the neighborhood and kind of get a good feel of what the place is like. Don't just focus on the residents. Look around the surrounding area. It's impossible to predict the future of your chosen neighborhood, of course, but inquiring or researching about the prospect now can help you avoid unpleasant surprises down the road. And there's some questions that you might want to ask and get answers for, like what kind of development plans are in the works for the neighborhood? Is the street that the house is on, is that a popular street during rush hour? There could be a bunch of cars going by there with parents trying to get their kids to school. Is there a talk of a highway being built nearby or a bridge within 5 or so years? What are the zoning laws in the area? Is there a lot of undeveloped land? But what are they going to be doing with that land? Have home values increased or decreased within the past couple of years? That's very important to know. You should always know what the comps are. And also, like during the holidays, is it busy during Halloween? Are there be a lot of kids trick-or-treating? Do you like that sort of thing? Because if you're gonna have a family, that might be a good option. If not, that might not be a good option. And also, is there an HOA in the neighborhood? Do they decorate for the holidays? All things you should be asking yourself when checking out your house as well as the neighborhood. Up next, rushing to put in an offer. Now I get it. Especially right now, it is a hot market here in Los Angeles. Most of the houses are going over the asking price, so you can't really delay on putting in an offer. It may be necessary to make an offer fast if you find the home that you want, and I'm talking like fast within that day probably. However, if you have to balance the need to make a quick decision with the need to make sure the home will be right for you, that's why you can't be stuck in that spot for too long. And that's why I recommend having that list of needs versus wants, so you have a clear idea in your head of things that you need to have for your house and the things that are negotiable and you would like to have but don't necessarily have to have them right away. Because when you find that house that you want, sometimes you got to move quickly and put in that offer. But also don't neglect important steps, such as making sure the neighborhood feels safe, like I just talked about. Drive around at night to make sure, and also at different times. Make sure that neighborhood is good for you, and also investigating possible noise issues. If there's like a train, if the house happens to be under a flight path, you got to think about that too, because there might be helicopters and planes going overhead. And just make sure that everything is the way that you see yourself living there in years to come. And with that being said, next up, dragging your feet. And I know these things kind of like I say one thing and then I'm saying the other, but it's important to take all these things into consideration. It's a tough balancing act to make sure that you are going to make the right decision. It's a lot of stress, but don't take too long to make it. Remember, have that list, because losing out on a property that you are almost ready to make an offer and then someone jumps in, puts in an offer and beats you to it is completely heartbreaking. I've seen that happen a couple of times with clients, and from other agents I've heard about their stories from their clients, and losing out on a house, the one that's the one for you, is horrible. And especially after all the work that you just put in to find that house. It can also have some economic consequences too, considering you're taking time away from working to go find a house. So if you don't pull the trigger quickly, someone else probably will, and then you'll have to keep looking. All right, so don't underestimate how time consuming and routine disrupting house shopping can be. That's why you should have your list, have your pre-approval, and just get to it and enjoy the process. Offering too much versus offering too little. Now there's a lot of competition out there right now. In Los Angeles, it's a seller's market and there are too many buyers for so little inventory. And chances are things are gonna go to a bidding war. A lot of the houses right now are being sold over the asking price. And so a lot of people are thinking that if they offer a higher price in the first place, that they're going to preempt get it into a bidding war and just get the house. Now, although that may or may not work, there are a couple of things to consider when doing this. First of all, if your offer gets accepted and then it gets appraised, if it gets appraised for less than what the accepted price was, then unless the seller agrees to lower the price, that money is going to come out of your pocket, meaning the bank is not going to give you a loan for the higher amount. They're going to give the loan for the amount that the house was appraised for. So if you're willing to pay extra money out of pocket, go for it. If the seller is willing to, lower the price of the house, go for it. But chances are the seller is not going to lower the price of the house and you're going to have to pay that money. So that's going to be something to take into consideration, especially if you have a limited budget. But with that being said, if you have the budget and your pre-approval is for a higher amount than what the house is listed for, put your best foot forward. Go for it. There's been plenty of situations where I've had buyers put in a higher offer just so they can make their offer stand out. And in today's seller's market, unfortunately, That's what a lot of people are having to do. But again, it's all up to you. It's what your budget is, and it's also about time. How much time do you have? Do you have to move right away? So you need to take this in consideration as well. And also, you might be fearful to make such a high amount. So you need to consider these things if you want your offer to be taken seriously. And lastly, on this part, make sure that the purchase price for the home is reasonable for both the house and also the location by examining the comps for the area. And of course, your agent can get you comps, and so that will help you to make an informed decision about your offer. And also, please get the opinion of your agent as well. Neglecting to inspect. You found the perfect home. Your offer was accepted. You're in contract, congratulations, but it's not over yet. It might be tempting to think that you're a homeowner just because you've gotten into escrow, but hold on, hit those brakes, tap that horn a little bit, because before you close the sale, you need to know the condition of the house. You can't just walk into a house and be like, yep, everything looks good, everything's in working order, okay, I will take it. It's gotta be inspected. Either a general inspection, which is the first thing that you'll do, perhaps a mold inspection, termite inspection. I go over all these things in my inspection video, so make sure you check that out. But this is very important. You don't want to get stuck in a money pit with the headache of performing a lot of unexpected and potentially expensive repairs. That's why you need a thorough inspection of the property. In fact, your mortgage lender might demand it. So just keep your feelings in check until you have a full picture of the house's physical condition, and the soundness of your potential investment will help you avoid making a serious financial mistake by buying a house that is basically a lemon. Getting desperate. I get it. You've been looking for a while, you haven't seen anything you've liked, or there's been some things that you liked, but they didn't have everything on your needs list, and your needs and wants were kind of getting muddied. Or you put in multiple offers on multiple houses and you keep getting outbid. I get it. It's extremely frustrating, but don't let that frustration turn into desperation just so you can find a house, all right? You don't want to get something that you're going to end up hating. That is the worst, because then what are you going to do? Are you going to end up selling it? Well, then think about that. That's going to cost you more time and more money, because the transaction cost to get rid of it will be costly. You have to pay a commission for your agent to sell the house, and that's usually up to 5% or 6% of the sale price. And then you'll have the closing costs for the mortgage on your new house. You also have to deal with the hassle and the expense of moving again. Like, you just moved. Why would you want to do it again? All right. If you have time on your side, it's okay to wait until you can find something that suits your needs. Because I know it's frustrating if you keep getting outbid, but eventually it will happen. I've seen it time and time again. I've heard other agents talk about it time and time again. Eventually their clients find a house if you just keep looking. And it's okay to take time off. Like I said, you can take time off for a while, you know, get back to your namaste for the home buying place and just kind of regroup and then start your search again. And that ends up working out for the best, because something comes on the market that really checks off all of your boxes. And that's usually what ends up happening. So to sum it up, the home buying process is an emotional one, but it's important not to let those emotions get in your way from making rational choices. All right, you have a lot of decisions to make in this process, so you can't let frustration or fear or anger or disappointment get in the way of finding the home of your dreams. In short, when it comes to finding a home, be realistic. Take your time. Don't act on impulse, and ultimately make a home purchase decision that's good both for your feelings and also for your finances, because the two go hand in hand. Yin yang, feelings and finances. Feelings and finances. So that's it. We covered a lot of ground. These are things to avoid in the house hunting process, and hopefully I helped clarify a couple of ways that you can work through these feelings and make some rational decisions to find the house of your dreams. And I'm here to help you do that, all right? I'm your real estate agent. I can help you if you are having these feelings, because I can guide you through that. I can walk you through the process. I'm not only your real estate agent, I'm also your chauffeur. I'm also your phone tech guy, because I can show you how to do things on your phone to find a house. I'm also your contract explainer. I am also your chauffeur. I am also your lint roller person, because I can roll lint off you if we're going into the house. I'm your booty supplier, because if we go into a house, sometimes you have to wear booties, so I'll give you the booties. Maybe I'll even put the booties on you. I am all these things. Use me. Let me help you overcome these emotions. Questions or comments? leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate your comments, please. I love reading them and I respond to all of them, even though I haven't gotten any yet. But I will if I do get some, so comment away because I love it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I'm Joey Rockenstein. This is Rockin' Real Estate LA. Results that rock.